And with us now is Kris King, the former New York Ranger, who recently was acquired by the Winnipeg Jets along with Ty Domi in exchange for Eddie Olczyk. And I don't think we have to tell you that Kris King has been a thorn in the sides of the Penguins since coming to the New York Rangers, and particularly getting involved quite a bit with Rick Tocchet, but also last year playing on a checking line, doing a pretty good job in the playoffs against the Pens. Kris, your thoughts, first of all, on the first period? It seemed as though some old rivalries heated up again there between you and Rick Tocchet.
Well, I mean, he plays the way he plays, and obviously my job is to just try to get him off his game. He's a key guy when Mario's out of the lineup, and I mean, it's happened for years, and I'm sure it'll happen for years to come.
I want to ask you about, while we watch you and Tocchet getting involved, about the trade, Kris, because I talked to Roger Nielsen. He was in Pittsburgh a couple of weeks ago. We interviewed him. In fact, it was the night that he coached his last game with the Rangers, and he seemed very upset by the fact that you were gone. I get the distinct impression that he really did not want to trade you.
Well, there's no secret Roger and I are close personal friends. I had great admiration for him as a coach, and you know, it was hard for Roger to tell me. He was the one that told me that I had been traded to Winnipeg, and he had told me from the start that I was one of his guys and played the style that he liked. And from what I understand, he fought Neil Smith to the end that he didn't want to make the trade. And when Neil made the trade against the coach's wishes, Roger knew that he wasn't going to be around in New York too much longer.
Well, it's one thing to be leaving a team that you were happy playing for and a coach you were happy playing for. It's another thing to be leaving that team to go to play for the Winnipeg Jets. And I think if you talk to players around the league, they talk about Winnipeg like it's Siberia. And I'm just wondering what your reaction was to that part of the trade, the fact that you were coming to Winnipeg.
Well, the previous 3 years in New York were very good for me. Last year was an extraordinary year with the point totals we had and the success we had, and I felt, you know, if it wasn't for Pittsburgh, we might have been the Stanley Cup champions. But you know, things weren't going that well this year. I was finding myself sitting out, you know, 4 and 5 games in a row, and no athlete's happy when they're not contributing. And I was happy after the shock settled down that I was going to a team that wanted me and that would give me the opportunity to play. And you know, I just love the game. It doesn't matter where it is. I just wanted the opportunity to show what I got, I guess.
And there are a lot of talented, skilled players on this team. It's not like you are coming to a team that can't play the game, and it would appear as though things are going in the right direction here in Winnipeg, doesn't it?
Well, they had a very slow start and found themselves about 8 or 9 games below 500, and you know, since that they played very good hockey, or we played very good hockey, and you know, we're 17-20 and 3 or whatever it is, and it's very respectable in this tough division. And we've caught Edmonton and have quite a few games in hand, and now we're setting our sights on LA for 3rd place. And like you mentioned, we have a lot of skilled players and a lot of good leaders, and if we can put it all together, I think we'll have a real good shot at doing something this year.
I would think your role would be even that much more prominent on this team too. I mean, you talked about the fact that you'd been sitting out almost 5 games in a row in New York, but there were a lot of players who do what you do there in New York, especially this year, and it would seem to me that here your role is really going to be prominent.
Well, when I first came here, John told me that one of the reasons they got me was hopefully for my leadership abilities, and the fact that I had been that close to Mark Messier for 2 years and maybe picked up some of the things that he tends to lend a team. And I hope I have, and I hope that I can, you know, in a little way help the team out in that area here, and I'm very excited about the year to come.
Okay, Kris, thanks a lot for being with us. Good luck here in Winnipeg.
Thanks very much.
All right, Kris King, the former New York Ranger, former Detroit Red Wing, originally drafted, in fact, by the Washington Capitals, made a good career for himself in the NHL, and will try to continue that here in Winnipeg.